shadows over Earth. In the year 2475, Earth was no longer the quiet blue planet of old. Towering cities pierced the clouds, connected by sleek skybridges and streaked with neon lights. Humanity had reached heights previously unimaginable. Spaceports bristled with ships ready to explore the solar system, while massive orbital stations hummed above the atmosphere, monitoring and protecting the planet below. It was a golden age, or at least it seemed so. Among the people of this new world was Captain Kalen Voss, a decorated explorer and strategist. He had seen the edges of the galaxy and faced threats most would only read about in history books. Yet, as he stood on the observation deck of the orbital station Aegis Horizon, staring at the curvature of Earth below, he felt an unease he could not shake. Something was wrong. It started as a whisper on the communication networks, a strange interference, pulses of energy that did not match any known human signal. At first, it was dismissed as cosmic radiation or a software glitch. But as hours passed, the interference grew stronger, more deliberate. The signals pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Dr. Leora Tanis, a leading xenobiologist and one of the foremost experts in alien life detection, was the first to voice the fear many were reluctant to acknowledge. She stood in her laboratory on the upper level of New Kyoto City's science complex, her eyes glued to a holographic display of the pulses. "These aren't random," she said quietly, almost to herself. Her assistant, a young technician named Renik Halvar, watched her with wide eyes. "They're deliberate. Someone, or something, is out there and it's massive." News began to spread quickly. Space agencies, private corporations, and governments around the world scrambled to confirm the signals. Satellites were reprogrammed to track them, and the pulse patterns were analyzed by AI networks that had previously solved the most complex mathematical problems. The results were chilling. The signals originated from beyond the Kuiper Belt, from a region of space humans had barely explored. And whatever was sending them was enormous, intelligent, and heading straight for Earth. Kalen received the briefing personally, standing on the deck as the chief officer relayed the findings. His jaw tightened. He had encountered alien life before, but nothing like this. Nothing that carried the kind of silent menace pulsing through these signals. "They're coming," he said, voice low but resolute. "And they're not here to negotiate." Meanwhile, ordinary humans went about their daily lives, blissfully unaware of the impending storm. Children played in the sunlight of vast city parks, autonomous vehicles zipped silently through neon streets, and markets thrived with goods from across the planet and beyond. Yet, for every gleaming skyline and bustling street, a shadow was stretching across the world, an invisible presence that had already begun to alter the course of history. The first warning signs came at the edge of the atmosphere. Satellites began to vanish, one by one, without explanation. Communications flickered. Entire fleets of reconnaissance drones failed mid-flight, disappearing from radar screens. Scientists scrambled to understand why, but nothing in human history could explain the sudden, coordinated blackout. Kalen convened a meeting with global defense leaders aboard the Aegis Horizon. Generals, scientists, and diplomats crowded the briefing room, each representing a slice of humanity's best and brightest. Among them, Leora's calm determination stood out. "We need to prepare for first contact," she said. "And this is not going to be friendly. Whatever is coming, it's powerful enough to wipe out entire cities in moments if we aren't careful." The gravity of her words sank in as all eyes turned toward the main screen, where a live feed of the approaching objects blinked into view. They were massive, each one larger than the largest human-made space station, sleek and dark, moving with impossible precision. The sheer scale of them made the fleet appear almost alive, as though each vessel was a single organism with a unified purpose. Panic began to ripple through the public when the first sightings of the alien ships appeared in the skies above major cities. They did not hover aimlessly or announce themselves with words or signals. They simply appeared, silent, unmoving, yet undeniably threatening. News broadcasts struggled to keep up, with reporters capturing fleeting images of the enormous dark shapes blotting out the sun over Shanghai, Rio, and Cairo. Governments around the world declared emergencies. Cities implemented defensive protocols, activating anti-orbital weapons and deploying fighter wings. Yet even the most advanced human arsenals seemed laughably inadequate against the alien presence. The ship's surfaces shimmered with an unearthly material that deflected energy blasts with ease. Their movements were calculated with a precision no human pilot could hope to match. Kalen stood at the command center watching the world react in real time. The awe he had once felt for the universe had been replaced by a deep, primal fear. Yet, within him, a spark of defiance burned. Humanity had faced threats before, and though this was unlike any other, the instinct to survive was deeply ingrained in the human spirit. "Gather the fleet," he ordered, voice steady despite the rising tension. "We need reconnaissance. We need answers. And if they attack, we fight. No matter the odds." As night fell over Earth, the alien signals continued to pulse, growing in intensity. In the darkened skies, the massive ships seemed to cast shadows that stretched across entire continents. Humanity had always looked to the stars with wonder, imagining life beyond their tiny world. Now that wonder was replaced by dread. Dr. Leora Tanis worked tirelessly through the night, analyzing the incoming signals, attempting to decode patterns, searching for a clue to the aliens' intentions. "They're not just observing," she muttered, rubbing her temples. "They're studying us, preparing. And it won't be long before we understand the consequences of that study." Kalen walked to the observation deck again, looking down on a city lit with neon brilliance, unaware that their time was running out. His mind raced with strategies, escape routes, and defenses. But deep down, he knew that no strategy could fully prepare humanity for what was coming. This was not a war of equals. This was survival against an enemy that did not play by human rules. And yet, despite the fear, Kalen felt something familiar stirring within him. The raw, unyielding courage that had defined humanity for millennia. The enemy may have been vast, powerful, and unknown, but humans were resilient. They had survived countless disasters, conquered impossible odds, and adapted to every challenge the universe had thrown at them. The shadows over Earth were growing longer, and soon they would fall upon every living being. But as Kalen, Leora, and the few brave souls who understood the scale of the threat prepared for the coming storm, one truth became clear: humanity would not go quietly into the night. The world held its breath. And somewhere deep in space, the pulse of an alien intelligence beat like a drum, heralding a day that would change the course of history forever. The arrival. The first warning alarms blared across every major city at precisely the same moment. It began as a subtle vibration, a low hum beneath the feet of billions of humans, barely noticeable. But within minutes, the hum escalated into a deafening resonance that rattled windows, shook buildings, and sent people scrambling into the streets. From space, the alien fleet emerged like shadows against the sun. They were impossible to ignore, massive, sleek vessels, their surfaces shimmering with a strange dark material that seemed alive, pulsing faintly like the veins of some colossal organism. They moved in perfect synchronization, almost as if they shared a single mind. Captain Kalen Voss watched through the viewport of the Aegis horizon, heart pounding. "They're here," he said quietly, though his voice carried the weight of command. "All units, prepare for immediate contact. We're facing something unlike anything humanity has ever seen." Dr. Leora Tanis, monitoring the alien signals, stared at her display with wide, unblinking eyes. "They're not just observing us, they're calculating. Every movement we make, every defense we deploy, they're already anticipating it. If they wanted to strike, it would already be over. But they had not struck, yet. Instead, the aliens hovered, maintaining their eerie silence as if weighing humanity's worth, or perhaps savoring the fear they induced. Below, on the streets of New Kyoto City, Rio, Cairo, and New York, people stared skyward, phones capturing images, broadcasts relaying real-time terror, and governments issuing emergency protocols. The scale of the alien fleet was beyond comprehension. Even humanity's largest orbital weapons platforms were tiny compared to a single alien ship. Panic erupted. Automated defenses fired, energy pulses cutting through the atmosphere, only to be absorbed or deflected effortlessly. Fighter squadrons scrambled, their engines screaming as they darted toward the alien vessels. But it was like swatting at shadows. The aliens moved with such precision and speed that even the fastest human craft seemed sluggish in comparison. Kalen turned to his bridge crew. "We need to understand them. Reconnaissance drones, deploy immediately. Get every angle we can. If we're going to survive this, we need knowledge." The drones launched, sleek and silent, but even as they approached, the aliens reacted. Entire swarms of drones were vaporized in seconds. Kalen clenched his fists. Humanity's weapons, brilliant and deadly against each other, were helpless here. "They're not just strong, they're surgical," he muttered. On the ground, chaos spread like wildfire. Entire city blocks trembled as the aliens tested the limits of human infrastructure. No one knew why the aliens had not attacked fully yet, but their presence alone caused devastation. People fled, bridges collapsed under the weight of panicked crowds, and the first 10 million humans, those who could not escape in time, were gone within hours as alien energy weapons obliterated them with chilling precision. Amid the terror, humanity's true nature emerged. Small groups banded together, some fleeing to safe zones, others preparing to fight back against impossible odds. Kalen assembled a team aboard the Aegis Horizon. Pilots, engineers, scientists, anyone who could make a difference. Among them were Sarai Korin, a young AI prodigy with unmatched technical skills, and Merrick Jast, a hardened veteran of countless conflicts, fearless and unwavering in the face of death. "We can't beat them head-on," Kalen said, pacing the command deck. "But we can survive. We can learn. And if we find a weakness, we strike." Meanwhile, Dr. Leora worked frantically, her holographic displays filled with calculations, projections, and alien energy patterns. "They're not just attacking," she said. "They're studying every aspect of human life, genetics, behavior, city patterns. It's horrifying. They're collecting data and then deciding who survives." The first full-scale assault came just as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in streaks of orange and purple. Alien energy beams sliced through skyscrapers, reducing them to molten rubble. Streets cracked, entire transport networks collapsed, and chaos reigned. Humanity realized for the first time that these were not mindless invaders, they were calculating predators, targeting specific areas with surgical precision. Kalen led a squadron of human fighters into the skies. Their engines roared and missiles streaked toward the alien ships, but their attacks bounced off the alien shields as if hitting invisible walls. Even the bravest pilots felt the weight of hopelessness pressing down on them. Yet Kalen refused to retreat. Humanity's survival depended on courage, on ingenuity, and on refusing to yield. From the ground, Sarai coordinated a digital counteroffensive, attempting to hack alien systems through every possible channel. "It's like trying to crack a star," she muttered, sweat dripping from her brow. Every second mattered. Every failed attempt meant more human lives lost. And then Kalen saw it, a flicker of vulnerability. In one of the alien ships, a subtle pattern emerged, almost imperceptible, where the pulsing energy seemed to falter. "There," he shouted. "There's a pattern. Target it." The human squadron adjusted, focusing fire and electronic warfare on the anomaly. For the first time, an alien ship shuddered. A section of its hull destabilized before the fleet reabsorbed the energy and moved on. It was a minor victory, but in a battle where the odds were astronomical, it gave humanity hope. As night fell across the globe, the scale of the attack became clear. 10 million humans had already perished, 10 million lives erased in hours. Cities lay in ruins and the sky was filled with alien ships, pulsating with ominous energy. Yet, amid the devastation, humanity's spirit had not been extinguished. Kalen stood on the deck of the Aegis Horizon, staring at the approaching ships. "They think they're invincible," he said quietly. "But they've never faced humans like us. We survive. We adapt. And if it comes to it, we fight until the last one of us stands." Dr. Leora joined him, her eyes fixed on the screens showing the alien fleet. "They're unlike anything we've faced before," she admitted. "But if we study them carefully, we might just find a way to turn their own strength against them." As the first waves of alien ships advanced toward Earth's major population centers, the planet held its breath. Humanity had lost so much already, yet even in the face of overwhelming power, the survivors were beginning to rise, determined to resist, to endure, and to fight back. Somewhere deep within the alien fleet, unseen and calculating, the invaders observed, their intentions unknown. But on Earth, a single truth echoed across shattered cities, quiet bunkers, and orbital stations alike. Humanity would not surrender. The arrival had begun. And the fight for Earth had only just started. Humanity's response. The skies above Earth were a storm of chaos. Alien ships hovered like dark predators, their energy pulsating with a rhythm that terrified even the bravest soldiers. Cities burned, communication networks collapsed, and panic spread like wildfire. Yet, amid the terror, humanity refused to surrender. Captain Kalen Voss stood aboard the Aegis Horizon, staring at the sprawling devastation below. He had watched entire cities vanish in the blink of an eye. 10 million lives, families, children, entire communities, gone before anyone could understand what had happened. The loss weighed heavily on him, but he refused to let despair dominate. "We've lost too many already," he said, voice steady but somber. "But we are still alive. And as long as we breathe, we fight." His team, a collection of the planet's most skilled pilots, engineers, and scientists, gathered around. Among them were Sarai Korin, the brilliant young AI prodigy, and Merrick Jast, a seasoned veteran whose courage had earned him the respect of even the most hardened soldiers. Together, they represented humanity's last hope for organized resistance. "We can't meet them head-on," Sarai said, eyes scanning holographic projections of alien formations. "They're faster, stronger, and smarter than anything we've faced. But they are predictable. Patterns exist in everything, even in their calculated attacks." Kalen nodded. "Then we exploit those patterns. We don't need to destroy them all, we just need to survive long enough to strike where it hurts." Across the globe, humanity began to respond in ways no alien calculation could anticipate. In the underground bunkers of New Kyoto, scientists reconfigured old military satellites into emergency defensive networks. Engineers in Cairo rigged transport drones with improvised weaponry, turning civilian equipment into makeshift artillery. Cities once paralyzed by fear became hubs of ingenuity and courage. On the front lines, Kalen led a fleet of fighters in a series of daring raids against the alien vessels. Using hit-and-run tactics, they exploited every minor flaw in the alien patterns. Each encounter was a gamble, and losses were inevitable, yet every successful strike delivered hope to humanity. In one of the first major skirmishes, Merrick piloted a heavily modified fighter through a dense cluster of alien ships. Energy beams lanced toward him, each one capable of vaporizing his vessel instantly. But Marek's instincts, honed over decades of combat, allowed him to weave through the lethal rain. He launched a precision missile that struck a previously weak point in an alien hull, causing a cascading energy disruption. The ship shuddered violently, a minor victory in a battle that seemed unwinnable. Meanwhile, Sarai coordinated cyber assaults from the Aegis horizon, attempting to hack into the alien fleet systems. Using sophisticated AI algorithms, she probed the invaders' energy pulses, searching for vulnerabilities. Hours of trial and error yielded only small successes, but each small crack gave humanity hope. Even the aliens, for all their intelligence, could not anticipate human creativity and unpredictability. Dr. Leora Tanis worked tirelessly in a hidden lab beneath the ruins of New York City. Her mission was clear: decipher the alien technology and develop strategies to protect the surviving population. She studied their energy signatures, structural design, and patterns of movement. "They are harvesting everything," she whispered to her assistant. "Genetics, energy sources, even city layouts. They're collecting data on life itself. But there's a way to fight back, we just need to find it." As night fell, the alien fleet intensified its attacks. Major population centers were targeted systematically, as if the invaders were cataloging human survival under pressure. Fires raged through cities, smoke blotting out the stars. Yet humanity continued to fight. Communities came together, sharing resources, providing shelter, and aiding evacuation efforts. What the aliens may have considered a weakness, the chaos and unpredictability of humans, became a strength. Kalen received a distress call from the southern hemisphere. A small city in the Andes had been surrounded, cut off from reinforcements. Civilians trapped in shelters faced certain annihilation. Without hesitation, Kalen dispatched Merrick and a squadron of fighters to provide aid. The mission was perilous, but giving up was never an option. The operation was harrowing. Alien ships hovered over the mountain city like titanic birds of prey, firing beams that disintegrated buildings and vehicles. Marek's squadron executed a coordinated maneuver, using the jagged terrain for cover. Precision strikes forced the aliens to retreat momentarily, giving civilians the chance to evacuate. Kalen coordinated rescue efforts from orbit, directing remaining drones to create safe passages. In the aftermath, survivors looked upon their rescuers with awe and gratitude. Children clung to their parents, wide-eyed, as Kalen addressed the gathered crowd. "We are not helpless," he said. "We may be small, but our courage, our ingenuity, and our will to survive make us stronger than they realize. We fight not because we must, but because we can." As the night deepened, humanity began to understand a vital truth. Their strength was not in their weapons, their cities, or their technology. It was in their unity, creativity, and indomitable spirit. For every alien strike there was a human response, unpredictable and adaptive. Every act of courage became a ripple, spreading hope in the face of despair. Leora, observing energy patterns from her lab, noticed a small but consistent anomaly. "They are precise," she said, pointing at the display. "But they're not perfect. There are gaps, windows where their control falters. If we can identify these weak points, we can exploit them." Sarai's fingers danced across the holographic interface, feeding the patterns into her AI systems. "It's like trying to solve a puzzle with millions of pieces," she muttered. But the pieces are starting to fit together. We can fight back, we just need coordination. By dawn, humanity had begun to turn the tide, not through raw power but through resilience, intelligence, and relentless courage. Reports came in from across the planet. Communities rebuilding defensive structures, pilots adapting to alien flight patterns, engineers creating weapons from salvaged materials. Humanity was learning to survive against the impossible. Kalen stood on the observation deck once more, gazing at the battered but defiant planet below. They think they can erase us, he said softly. But humans do not go quietly. We endure. We adapt. And we will survive. In the alien fleet above, unseen observers noted the resistance. Their calculations, precise as they were, had not anticipated the unpredictable nature of human courage. Each strike, each act of defiance, was catalogued, but the outcome remained uncertain. For the first time, hope flickered across Earth, a fragile flame against the darkness of extinction. Humanity had suffered enormous losses, yet they refused to be extinguished. 10 million lives had been taken, but those who remained were determined to fight back. They were small, vulnerable, and outmatched, but they were human, and that was enough. The response of humanity had begun. The fight for survival was no longer just about defense. It was about reclaiming their world, proving that even against an invincible force, the human spirit could endure. And so, as dawn broke over a scarred but unbroken Earth, Captain Kalen Voss, Dr. Leora Tanis, Sarai Korin, and Merrick Jast prepared for the next stage of resistance. The battle was far from over, but one truth was clear: humanity would not bow. They would rise, adapt, and fight back, no matter the cost. The shadows over Earth had come, but humanity's light refused to be extinguished. Secrets of the enemy. The war against the alien invaders had reached a terrifying impasse. Humanity fought bravely, but the scale of the assault was beyond anything they had ever faced. 10 million lives had been erased, cities lay in ruins, and yet the aliens remained calm, calculating, and merciless. Deep beneath the shattered city of New York, in a hidden laboratory built under layers of reinforced steel and concrete, Dr. Leora Tanis worked tirelessly. Holographic displays filled the dimly lit room, depicting alien energy patterns, ship schematics, and intercepted communications. Her hands moved rapidly over touch-sensitive interfaces, analyzing, decoding, and reconstructing fragments of alien technology. "What are they planning?" whispered Renik Halvar, her young assistant, as he peered at a glowing display. "Why are they killing us like this?" "They're not just killing," Leora replied, her voice tight with unease. "They're studying, observing, collecting data. Every strike, every pattern, every genetic marker, they're taking it all. Humanity is a resource to them, not just a threat." She paused, tracing lines of code that represented the alien ship's energy networks. Each pulse, each maneuver seemed to serve two purposes: destruction and acquisition. Leora's heart sank as the horrifying truth became clear. "They're harvesting us," she said finally, almost to herself. "Not just our cities, not just our lives, but our very essence. Our genetics, our biodiversity, even our behavior, it's all being catalogued." Meanwhile, above ground, Captain Kalen Voss coordinated relief efforts and strategic defenses from the Aegis horizon. Pilots and drones scoured the skies, harassing alien formations, testing weaknesses. Yet every success was small and fleeting. Humanity needed a bigger advantage, a way to strike at the very heart of the enemy. Leora's discovery provided a glimmer of hope. The alien ships, she realized, were interconnected, part of a central intelligence that coordinated every attack. It wasn't a fleet, it was a single organism operating as many bodies. If they could locate the central node, if they could disrupt the network, perhaps humanity could turn the tide. Kalen convened a meeting with his core team: Sarai Korin, Merrick Jast, and Leora herself. "What have you found?" he asked, his voice grim. "They're collecting life," Leora began. "I've traced energy signatures from the ships. They're extracting genetic material and biological data from humans, and probably every other species on Earth. It's systematic. They're cataloging everything before they destroy it." Sarai's eyes lit up as she tapped into the holographic interface. "If we can disrupt their network even slightly, we could slow them down, maybe even turn their own systems against them. I can attempt to infiltrate one of the ships with an AI virus, but I'll need access close to the central node." Merrick leaned forward, his expression grim. "So, we're talking about boarding one of their ships, with barely any backup, against an enemy that can vaporize cities in seconds?" Kalen's jaw tightened. "Yes, but it's the only chance we have. Humanity can't fight this fleet head-on and survive. But if we can strike at the heart, we may have a chance to save what remains. The plan was dangerous beyond comprehension. A small strike team would infiltrate the largest alien vessel detected near Earth's orbit. Using a stolen transport ship retrofitted for stealth, they would penetrate the enemy's defenses and attempt to deliver Sarai's virus directly into the Central Intelligence's core. Success meant the disruption of the entire fleet. Failure meant total annihilation. As they prepared, the world watched from hidden bunkers and shelters, unaware of the true plan but desperate for hope. Humanity had endured unimaginable loss, yet they still stood. They were battered, bruised, and grieving, but not broken. Kalen's team boarded the transport ship in silence. Sarai's fingers danced across the console, inputting final codes and synchronizing the AI virus. Merrick checked weapons, double-checked life support, and tightened harnesses. Leora secured the last of her research data, determined to provide any insight needed in case the mission failed. "Remember," Kalen said, looking at each of them, "we don't have to survive this. But we must make it count. If we fail, Earth will not endure. But if we succeed, we may give humanity a second chance." The transport ship launched from the hidden dock, weaving through the ruined skyline of New York, before shooting into orbit and toward the alien fleet. Below, remnants of human cities glimmered under emergency lights, silent witnesses to the courage of a few who dared to fight back. As the ship approached the massive alien vessel, the team felt the full weight of the enemy's presence. The hull of the ship shimmered with dark, pulsing energy. It was alive in a way that made even Marek's seasoned nerves tense. Each movement of the vessel was calculated, precise, almost predatory. Sarai began the AI upload as they penetrated the alien defenses. "We're in," she said, voice steady but tense. "Virus is deploying. Targeting central network nodes, now." Suddenly, alarms blared. The alien vessel detected the intrusion. Energy waves surged through the ship, knocking systems offline. Sparks flew across the transport's cabin as Merrick fought to maintain control. "We're not out of this yet," he shouted, maneuvering the ship through the pulsing energy field. Leora monitored the alien systems, guiding Sarai's efforts. "Keep going. The network is vulnerable for seconds at a time." The tension in the cabin was suffocating. Every second could mean success, or death. Sweat ran down foreheads, hands flew across consoles, and hearts pounded as the virus worked to infiltrate the alien intelligence. Then, slowly, the first signs of success appeared. Alien systems faltered, pulsing irregularly, the ships above Earth faltering mid-strike. Kalen felt a surge of hope. The plan was working. Humanity's ingenuity, courage, and determination were making a difference. But the danger was far from over. The Central Intelligence was vast and relentless, and the virus could fail at any moment. The team had bought Earth time, but only time. As the transport ship pulled away from the alien vessel, sparks still flying, Kalen looked at his team. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We've glimpsed their weakness. Now we need to act, and we need to survive long enough to strike again." Outside the ship, the alien fleet hovered above Earth, still powerful, still threatening, but now uncertain. Humanity had made the first move, revealing that even against an overwhelming force, courage, intelligence, and unity could make a difference. On the battered planet below, humans began to hope again. They had suffered unimaginable losses, but the spirit of defiance was alive. The fight for survival was far from over, but humanity had discovered the first clue in their struggle. The enemy was not invincible. And somewhere deep within the alien fleet, the Central Intelligence calculated the anomaly, registering for the first time that the species it sought to erase might not be so easily forgotten. Humanity's response was no longer purely defensive. The fight had shifted. Survival was now an active struggle, a battle of wits, courage, and determination. And for the first time since the arrival of the alien shadows, Earth had a plan. The shadows over Earth were vast, but humanity's resolve burned brighter than ever: the strike. The alien fleet hung above Earth like a storm that refused to pass. Its presence dominated the sky, casting shadows over cities that had already endured unimaginable devastation. Humanity had learned that survival would require more than courage. It demanded audacity, precision, and an unshakable will. Captain Kalen Voss stared at the massive holographic projection of the alien mothership hovering in low orbit. It dwarfed every human vessel in existence, its surface pulsing with strange energy patterns. "This is it," he said quietly, voice taut with determination. "This is where we turn the tide, or we die trying." Aboard the Aegis Horizon, the strike team prepared for their mission. Sarai Corin reviewed her AI virus deployment protocols one last time, fingers flying over the touch-sensitive interface. Merrick Jash checked weapons, life support systems, and navigation controls, his face set like carved stone. Dr. Leora Tanis secured vital research data, ready to guide the team through any scientific unknowns. "Remember," Kalen said standing before them, "we are not just risking our lives. We are the thin line between survival and extinction for billions of humans. Stay focused. Trust your instincts. And above all, never give up." The transport ship lurched as it launched from the Aegis horizon, slipping into the vacuum of space. The alien mothership loomed ahead, enormous and alive in its silent menace. Its surface shimmered with organic energy, as though it were a single, immense creature. Every move of the ship seemed to anticipate human actions before they were taken. Sarai began the AI virus deployment. "I'm inside the system," she reported, her voice calm but tense. "Uploading the virus, now. Targeting central nodes for maximum disruption." As the team approached the hull, sensors picked up energy pulses emanating from the mothership. The alien vessel reacted instantly. Automated defense drones swarmed outward, sleek and deadly, moving with precision that made human pilots feel sluggish by comparison. Merrick took the controls, weaving through the swarm with nerves of steel. Energy blasts lanced past the ship, some hitting close enough to shake the transport violently. "Hold steady," Kalen shouted. "Sarai, keep the virus running. Leora, guide us through their energy patterns." Leora's holographic displays flickered as she analyzed the alien energy fields. "Their shields fluctuate in predictable pulses," she observed. "If we time our trajectory, we can slip through the gaps. It's narrow, but it's possible." Using Leora's calculations, Kalen navigated the transport ship through the gaps. Sparks flew, and the hull groaned under stress as the team dodged beams of pure energy. Every second was a gamble, every maneuver could mean life or instant death. Yet the humans pressed on. The interior of the alien mothership was unlike anything humanity had seen. Organic walls pulsed with light, corridors twisted in impossible angles, and the air hummed with energy that was both alien and alive. Kalen led the team cautiously, scanning for security measures, while Sarai's AI virus worked to infiltrate the core systems. "Almost there," Sarai whispered. "Uploading virus to the central intelligence node. Done." Immediately, alarms blared. The alien vessel shuddered, energy surging through its corridors. Automated defense drones converged on the team, their movements lightning fast. Merrick drew his weapon, a modified plasma rifle, and fought with precision born of years of combat. Kalen and Sarai moved swiftly, evading attacks and securing their path to the central node. As the virus began to take effect, the mothership faltered. Energy flows misaligned, and sections of the ship's hull vibrated violently. Above Earth, the alien fleet wavered. Ships that had once struck cities with unerring precision now hesitated, their coordinated attacks faltering. Humanity's defenses gained a brief but critical advantage. Leora's voice crackled over comms. "The virus is working. The network is destabilized. But it's spreading slowly, you'll need to buy time for it to reach the entire fleet." Kalen nodded, scanning the corridors for threats. "We do whatever it takes. Move forward." The team pressed onward, navigating the alien ship's maze-like interior. Energy conduits sparked, drones attacked relentlessly, and every step brought them closer to either victory or annihilation. Sarai's AI continued to spread through the network, embedding itself into the alien systems. It was a race against time, and failure was not an option. Finally, they reached the heart of the vessel, a vast chamber where the alien intelligence resided. A pulsing, immense mass of energy, simultaneously organic and technological, dominated the space. It reacted instantly to the virus, convulsing as the AI infiltrated its core systems. Kalen observed the alien intelligence, feeling the enormity of what they had undertaken. "This is it," he said quietly. "The heart of the enemy." Sparks and energy arcs filled the chamber as the virus spread. Systems failed, drones powered down, and the vessel shuddered violently. The mothership emitted a deep, resonant pulse that rippled through space. For the first time, the alien fleet appeared vulnerable. Humanity had struck a blow against the seemingly invincible enemy. But the danger was far from over. The alien intelligence, vast and relentless, was adapting, countering the virus where it could. Every second counted. The team had to complete the infiltration, escape, and ensure the virus fully disrupted the fleet, or all would be lost. Merrick covered the team's retreat, fending off waves of automated defenses. "Move, move." "Move," he shouted, firing with lethal precision. Kalen and Sarai ran, their path illuminated by the convulsing energy of the alien core. Finally, they reached the transport ship and launched away from the mothership as it convulsed, energy arcs dancing across its hull. The virus had taken hold, destabilizing the fleet's coordination and buying Earth precious time. Kalen looked back at the enormous vessel, trembling and faltering in space. "We've made them bleed," he said. "It's only the beginning, but we've shown them that humanity cannot be erased." As the transport ship returned toward Earth, Sarai monitored the virus spread. "It's working," she reported. "The fleet's attacks are disorganized. Cities have a chance to recover, to rebuild defenses. We've given humanity hope." Above the scarred planet, the alien fleet wavered, uncertain for the first time since its arrival. Humanity had proven that even against overwhelming power, courage, ingenuity, and unity could make a difference. 10 million lives had already been lost, but those who remained would fight, adapt, and survive. Kalen, Sarai, Merrick, and Leora had struck the first decisive blow. The battle for Earth was far from over, but humanity had discovered a critical truth. Even the seemingly invincible could be challenged. The shadows over Earth had been pushed back, if only slightly. And in that glimmer of hope, humanity found its strength, unyielding, unbroken, and ready for the battles yet to come. The fight was far from over. But for the first time, Earth's defenders knew they had a chance. The turning point. The skies above Earth were no longer entirely dark. The alien fleet still hovered menacingly, massive and silent, but something had changed. Humanity had struck back. The virus deployed by Sarai Korin had infiltrated the alien mothership, disrupting the central intelligence and scattering the fleet into uncoordinated movements. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had the initiative. Captain Kalen Voss watched from the Aegis horizon as human pilots launched daring sorties against isolated alien vessels. Their weapons, previously ineffective against the invaders' flawless shields, now struck with occasional success. Energy pulses misfired, drones malfunctioned, and ships that had once been unstoppable now faltered under precise human assault. "This is it," Kalen said, voice low but determined. "The first real chance humanity has had to fight back. Every strike counts. Every life saved matters. We cannot waste this moment." On the ground, survivors emerged from shelters, cautious but emboldened by the scattered attacks of human forces in the skies. Cities began to rebuild emergency defenses, erecting barriers and recalibrating old military satellites for counterattack. Civil engineers, pilots, and volunteers worked tirelessly, their unity creating a network of resistance that even the aliens could not immediately counter. Sarai monitored the alien fleet, her fingers flying over holographic controls. "The virus is spreading deeper into their network," she said. "Their coordination is breaking down. They're reacting unpredictably. This is our chance to reclaim our cities, and maybe even strike at the remaining motherships." Merrick Jast, stationed aboard a frontline fighter, executed daring maneuvers, dodging alien energy beams with the instinct of a veteran warrior. Each hit he scored against the weakened vessels sent sparks of hope through the human forces. "We've got them on the ropes," he shouted over comms, excitement mixed with relief. "Keep pressing. They're not invincible." Dr. Leora Tanis worked furiously to analyze new alien data captured during the chaos. "They're trying to adapt," she warned. "But the virus is slowing their response. We have hours, maybe days, before they regain full control. We need to exploit this window to protect as many lives as possible." The turning point came when Kalen led a coordinated strike team into the skies over New Kyoto City. Alien drones, previously unstoppable, now faltered in formation, some colliding with one another as human fighters targeted critical nodes in their energy systems. The battle was intense, with explosions illuminating the city below like violent fireworks. Yet human determination prevailed. Amid the chaos, Kalen noticed a familiar pattern in the enemy's movement, one that Sarai had predicted but the alien fleet had failed to anticipate. "Follow my lead," he ordered the pilots. Using the flawed network pulses, they funneled alien ships into a narrow corridor over the mountains. Their human orbital cannons, long thought useless, finally found their mark. The result was spectacular. Several alien ships were destroyed in a single coordinated strike. Humanity cheered from their hidden shelters and control centers. The invaders were not invincible. They were mortal, just like those fighting for Earth. Meanwhile, Leora discovered something equally significant. "The aliens' energy systems are interconnected," she explained. "If we destabilize one section of their network completely, the disruption spreads. It's like pulling a thread from a tapestry, the whole structure begins to unravel. Using this insight, Sarai and her AI launched targeted attacks across the remaining fleet. Alien ships lost synchronization, their attacks became sporadic, and some even retreated in confusion. Earth's cities, battered but not broken, began to breathe again. In the chaos, human ingenuity shone brightest. Civilians adapted scavenged technology into weapons, engineers repaired damaged satellites to serve as orbital artillery, and pilots devised creative aerial tactics that leveraged their knowledge of Earth's terrain. Humanity was no longer on the defensive, they were becoming the hunters. Kalen convened a strategic meeting aboard the Aegis Horizon. "We've seen what we can do when we work together," he said, looking at Sarai, Merrick, and Leora. "The enemy can't calculate courage, creativity, or determination. They can't predict human spirit. Now it's time to take that advantage and reclaim what's ours." Sarai smiled faintly, hands still on the controls. "We bought time. Enough time to evacuate civilians, rebuild defenses, and push them back. This is the turning point, Kalen. If we keep moving, we can win this." Across the globe, humans rallied. Small communities armed themselves, using knowledge of the aliens' weakened coordination to fortify positions and reclaim key territories. Pilots launched daring raids against isolated alien ships, engineers rigged satellites with improvised EMPs, and scientists devised methods to protect civilians from energy weapons. Humanity's response was chaotic, unpredictable, and brilliant, a perfect counter to the previously precise invaders. In orbit, Kalen led one final sortie for the day. Using Sarai's virus updates, they targeted a cluster of alien vessels attempting to regroup. The strike was flawless. Ships faltered, some exploded spectacularly, and the remaining fleet scattered in confusion. Humanity had delivered its first coordinated planet-wide counterattack. Back on Earth, survivors watched the alien ships falter above the horizon. Smoke still rose from destroyed cities, but hope glimmered in the eyes of the human people. They had lost 10 million lives already, but those who remained had begun to believe they could survive, and even triumph. Kalen stood on the deck of the Aegis Horizon, watching the alien fleet retreat slightly. "This is the moment we've been waiting for," he said. "We've learned, adapted, and struck back. The battle isn't over, but humanity has found its strength." Leora, observing the alien patterns, nodded. "They're intelligent and relentless. They will return with greater force. But they underestimate us. Every life we save, every city we protect, weakens them. We are no longer just defending, we are teaching them that humanity cannot be erased." Merrick looked out at the skies, a rare smile on his scarred face. "We've turned the tide. Earth isn't theirs to take. Not yet. And maybe, never." The sun rose over a battered but unbroken planet. Humanity had endured the unthinkable, struck back with courage and ingenuity, and begun to reclaim its place under the stars. The turning point had come. The fight for Earth was far from over, but hope, fragile yet fierce, burned brighter than the alien shadows. Humanity would rise again. Cities would rebuild. Lives would be saved. And when the aliens returned, they would find a species stronger, smarter, and far more determined than they had ever anticipated. The battle for Earth had reached its turning point. Humanity, scarred but unbroken, had begun to reclaim its destiny. A new dawn. The alien fleet still hovered above Earth, but the shadow they had cast for weeks was finally beginning to lift. Humanity, battered but unbroken, had struck back, adapting to an enemy they once believed invincible. The virus deployed by Sarai Korin had fractured the alien network, disrupting the coordination of the fleet, while Captain Kalen Voss's daring strategies had reclaimed key cities and protected millions of lives. From the command deck of the Aegis Horizon, Kalen observed the fleet carefully. Though still formidable, the aliens were now disorganized, their once perfect formations wobbling and misaligned. "This is our chance," Kalen said. "We don't just defend anymore, we take the fight to them." Dr. Leora Tanis adjusted her holographic displays, tracking the alien energy pulses and their weakened core systems. "Their central intelligence is destabilized," she confirmed. "If we coordinate properly, we can force a complete collapse of their fleet, or at least push them far enough away from Earth that our people can breathe again." Sarai Korin's fingers flew over the control panels, refining the AI virus with precision. "We've identified the remaining central nodes," she said. "Target them simultaneously, and the chain reaction should cascade through the entire network. It's risky, but it's our best shot." Merrick Jast stood at Kalen's side, scanning the skies for any sign of retaliation. "We fought tooth and nail to get here. We've lost friends, cities, and countless lives, but we're still standing. Let's finish this. The final plan was audacious. Coordinated strikes would target isolated alien vessels and the destabilized core nodes simultaneously, while orbital and ground defenses prevented civilian casualties. Humanity's combined forces, pilots, drones, and orbital weapons, were ready to unleash everything they had learned. As the assault began, Earth's forces moved with precision born from desperation. Pilots dove through the gaps in alien shields, fighters weaving between energy beams that had once been unstoppable. Orbital artillery fired in synchronized volleys, striking alien ships at critical points identified by Sarai and Leora. On the ground, survivors operated emergency defenses, protecting the remaining cities and evacuating civilians. Kalen led a squadron into the heart of the alien formation, their mission clear: deliver a concentrated strike against the mothership, now crippled by the AI virus. The ship shimmered ominously, pulses irregular and faltering. Every second was a race against time, every maneuver potentially fatal. Sarai's virus worked relentlessly, embedding itself deeper into the alien network. Systems misfired, shields collapsed in bursts, and drones malfunctioned mid-flight. Alien coordination, once flawless, now resembled chaotic, unorganized movement. The invaders' advantage, their precision, had been stripped away. From the Aegis horizon, Kalen watched as Merrick piloted through a corridor of weakened alien vessels, striking at core nodes identified by Sarai. Energy surges rocked the sky, explosions illuminating the clouds in brilliant flashes. Humanity had learned to turn the enemy's strength against them, and it worked with terrifying effectiveness. Dr. Leora monitored the cascading effect of the virus. It's spreading across the fleet. Every node destabilized increases the chance of a full collapse. Humanity's ingenuity is working. As the alien fleet faltered, humans on Earth dared to celebrate. In cities like New Kyoto, Cairo, and Rio, survivors emerged from shelters, cheering as the sky, once filled with terror, now revealed scattered and retreating alien vessels. Communities banded together, helping each other rebuild and protect those who had survived the relentless onslaught. Kalen's strike squadron reached the mothership, now convulsing under the viral assault. Merrick fired precision missiles at the final critical nodes, while Kalen guided the team through collapsing corridors of space and energy. The mothership's central intelligence, once an unstoppable predator, quivered, its network fracturing completely. Finally, the colossal alien vessel emitted a pulse so massive it rippled through space, knocking smaller ships out of alignment and scattering the remaining fleet. The power of the AI virus, combined with humanity's audacity, had shattered the enemy's cohesion. For the first time since the invasion began, the skies above Earth were free of organized alien control. Kalen exhaled, leaning against the console. It's over, at least for now. Sarai slumped in relief. We've disrupted them completely. They'll take months, maybe years, to regroup, if they can at all. Earth is safe, for now. Merrick cracked a rare smile. We fought the impossible and won. Humanity isn't just surviving, we're thriving under pressure. Dr. Leora, gazing at the remaining alien ships retreating into the darkness of space, spoke quietly. They came thinking to erase us, but they underestimated what it means to be human, the will to survive, the courage to fight, the creativity to adapt. We are more than just a species, we are a force. Across the planet, humanity began to rebuild. Cities scarred by alien attacks were reconstructed with ingenuity and care. Survivors honored those who had fallen, commemorating the 10 million lives lost, while embracing the hope of those who remained. Emergency shelters became centers of community and learning, and scientists worked tirelessly to prepare for the possibility of future threats. The world had changed. Humans no longer looked at the stars with fear, they looked with defiance. The alien fleet, once a symbol of unstoppable power, had been challenged, beaten back by sheer courage, intelligence, and unity. Earth's defenders had proven that even in the darkest moments, humanity could rise above extinction itself. Kalen, Sarai, Merrick, and Leora stood together on the observation deck of the Aegis horizon, looking down at a planet scarred but alive. We've survived the impossible, Kalen said. But this is just the beginning. Humanity will rebuild. We will protect our world. And if they ever return, they will face a planet united and unbroken. Sarai nodded, her eyes reflecting the dawn breaking over Earth. We've learned our strength. We've seen what we can do when we work together. That is humanity's true power. Merrick rested his hand on Kalen's shoulder. No one will forget this day. 10 million lives lost, but millions more saved. That's what it means to be human. We endure, we fight, and we prevail. Dr. Leora looked out at the horizon, where the first sunlight in weeks touched cities, forests, and oceans alike. The shadows over Earth have lifted, she said softly. A new dawn begins, not just for those who survived but for every generation yet to come. Humanity has proven that we are not just fragile creatures on a small planet. We are resilient, inventive, and indomitable. The alien fleet receded into the void, silent witnesses to the species they had sought to erase. Earth's defenders watched, knowing the universe was vast and dangers would come again, but for now they had triumphed. For the first time in decades, humanity could breathe freely. Cities, oceans, forests, and skies all bore the marks of struggle and survival, yet life thrived. Humanity's ingenuity and courage had saved the planet. And as the sun rose higher, casting light over a world scarred but unbroken, one truth remained clear. No matter the odds, no matter the enemy, humanity endures. A new dawn had begun.